snap. Barletta finding forward. Let's see. He's in. Touchdown. John Hopkins.
He's going to lob it to the end zone and intercepted by Caulfield. Racing down the sideline. It's going to be a 100-yard return for P.J. Caulfield. Takes a snap, steps up, and a wide-open Warnick makes the catch on the far side of the field, and he's going to walk in for a touchdown. 44-yard connection. Tomlin to Sam Warnick.
The Johns Hopkins football team entered the 2011 season with high expectations. In the previous 2 years, the Blue Jays had won the Centennial Conference title and paid a trip to the NCAA quarterfinals in 2009. The team returned key weapons on both sides of the ball: quarterback Hewitt Tomlin and wide receiver Sam Warnick, the reigning conference offensive player of the year, returned for their senior years to anchor a proficient offensive attack. The defense was led by senior linebacker Ryan Piatek, who would surpass the 200-tackle plateau for his career in the upcoming games. The year started with a bang as the Blue Jays blew out their opponents in the first 3 games of the season. The opener was all about passing, as Tomlin matched a school record with 6 touchdown throws in one game against Merchant Marine Academy in a 45-14 victory. The following week in the conference opener against Susquehanna, it was the rushing game that stole the show, with 6 scores on the ground, with running back Jonathan Rigaud running for 150 yards on just 7 carries and 3 touchdowns. Not to be ignored, the defense contributed a strong effort as well, as Piatek and freshman Patrick Eichner each returned an interception for a touchdown in the 56-7 drubbing of the Crusaders. The next week, Hopkins collected their first shutout of the season, flanking Moravian College 41-0. The Blue Jays held the Greyhounds to under 200 yards of total offense while registering 5 sacks in the afternoon. The win allowed Hopkins to crack the top 25 in the national polls for the first time this season. Hopkins faced a strong test the following week when they matched up against perennial power Muhlenberg without Tomlin, who was sidelined with an injury. Sophomore Robbie Mady took the reins at quarterback and barely missed a beat, hitting 25 of 31 passes for 251 yards, a touchdown, and no interceptions. After blowing out Juniata to go 5-0, Tomlin returned to the action in a blowout win against Dickinson. The Jays' signal caller threw for 390 yards to become the all-time leader in total offense in the Centennial Conference. The performance marked just the latest accomplishment for Tomlin, who entered the year as the winningest quarterback in school history. More records fell the next week against Gettysburg when the Jays won their 12th straight game dating back to the previous season. Hopkins scored 83 points behind a program record 731 yards of total offense in the contest. Despite barely playing in the fourth quarter, Tomlin notched a school record 501 yards passing and broke his own record by throwing for 7 TDs in the contest. Sophomore receiver Daniel Watica, quickly emerging as a rising star, had 15 catches for 217 yards in the victory. The Jays clinched their second berth to the NCAA tournament in the last 3 years, and their third since 2005, when they routed Ursinus 37-9 in late October to clinch yet another conference title. Rigaud ran for a career-high 166 yards on the ground amid driving rain and very cold weather. Hopkins beat Franklin and Marshall and McDaniel College to close out the season with a perfect record for the first time in school history. The 10-0 mark gave Hopkins a chance to host its first ever NCAA playoff game at Homewood Field. It was a year of remarkable accomplishments for the Jays. Hewitt Tomlin was the Centennial Conference Offensive Player of the Year. The third straight season, a Blue Jay won the award. He also merited a nomination for the Gagliardi Award, the first Hopkins player ever to be a finalist for the national honor. Tomlin's center, Ed Roger, was also named a preseason All-American, and head coach Jim Margraf was named the Conference Coach of the Year. The Blue Jays' future is bright, with Watica returning as the leading receiver, and Scott Cremens, who led the team with 9 touchdown catches last season, coming back as well. Rigaud returns to anchor the running game, with Mady poised to succeed Tomlin as the Blue Jays quarterback, and should be well prepared after seeing lots of action the previous season. The defense returns its leading 2 tacklers in linebackers Taylor Machow and Adam Schweier. The 2011 season, all in all, was one of the most successful in school history, and further cemented the Blue Jays as a football powerhouse.